Is studying in Germany hard? Do you need to know German to get a visa? How do you study Germany? So if you want to study in Germany, that's awesome. I know applying to a German university might seem a bit complicated, especially because some of their websites are only in German, so you're most likely copy-pasting everything into Google Translate, and you're getting these awesome words like honorifically like, what the hell does that even mean? They've already implemented tuition fees in this region, so I suggest you hurry the up. I mean, it's still like nothing compared to the universities in the US, but it still goes against the motive of getting a higher education for free. So yeah, studying in Germany is awesome. You don't need big loans and or have rich parents. The only downside is that you have to obviously learn the language, unless you want to study in English, but you know, if you come to Germany, it's preferred that you study in German. I feel like the only reason people tend to shy away from studying in Germany is because of the language. Now I know it's not necessarily easy, but that's why you have to start as early as possible. But trust me, once you come here and settle in Germany, you're gonna learn the language much faster than you did abroad. So I'm gonna walk you through the basic procedure of getting accepted into a bachelor's program. I'm gonna keep it short and simple for time's sake.
Bro, this video is over 15 minutes long. What do you mean short? But seriously guys, I mentioned a lot of important things, so I suggest you watch the video till the end.
So basically, if you want to get into one of the bachelor programs, you're gonna fall into one of the three categories. Okay, so number one is if you've already studied at university and you're basically transferring here. In most cases, the only thing that they tell you that you're lacking is the language. So you basically have to pass a C1 exam, maybe even C2 depending on the major, or test DAF, DSH. I know they sound scary, but they're just language exams that test your proficiency in reading, listening, writing, and speaking. I'd say this can take anywhere from 3 months to 1 year, depending on your previous skills and if you've already learned German. But anyways, nowadays to even get a visa, in case you need one, you need a B1 certificate. But I remember a few years ago it was even just A1 or A2. So they keep setting a higher standard, I guess. So I'm assuming by the time you arrive here, you'll probably have a solid foundation. So yeah, you learn pretty quick. So the second group of people is if you finished high school, and this is a very important and, it is recognized by the German embassy.
I meant to say education system, not embassy. And if you didn't even notice, then I pointlessly embarrassed myself.
If you want to know if your high school diploma is up to par with the German one, then just go to this website called Anabin. I'll leave a link down below. So basically you can choose your country and then you can type the name of your school. Off the top of my head, I know that countries like Albania, Syria, Tunisia are considered countries with a good education system, and therefore they don't need to do this preparation course, which I will get into in a second. So the solution is similar to the first one. You only need to pass the language exam, and again it might take 3 months up to 1 year. Actually, maybe even 2 years, even for the first group of people. It really depends on what you've learned before. And now onto the third and final group, my favorite one by far. This is a thank you to the government for making our lives so easy. So third group is also if you finished high school, but it's not recognized by their education system. So what do you do now? You need to go through what's called Studienkolleg. This is basically a preparation type of course, but not only do you have language, you also have math, physics, chemistry. You can choose your subjects, by the way, there are different courses and you can pick from them. If you want me to make an in-depth video about Studienkolleg, then just let me know down below, because it needs a separate video for itself. This is just the overview. And to quickly clarify why the government thinks you need this extra preparation course, which by the way lasts 6 months to 1 year, depending where you do it. Again, I will mention it in another video. It's because the German high school can last up to 13 years. So they basically think that you don't have enough knowledge. So for example, I graduated from school in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, Dubai. Yeah, Dubai. Should have just said Dubai. Now I had to go through this Studienkolleg because I'm assuming that the UAE, Dubai, is like relatively young. It's like what, I think less than 50 years old. And because it's a new country, I feel like Germans don't trust the education system just yet. But it doesn't even make sense because my brother and I graduated from the same school and his diploma was recognized and mine wasn't. And it's not even about the grades because we were both in like the 90 plus range. So yeah, a lot can happen in 2 years. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention my brother is 2 years older than me. So yeah, to be honest, in the beginning I was pretty devastated that I have to take this extra preparation course because one, it gives you like a sense of, like, how do I say this? It makes you feel stupid basically. Like you have to learn some concepts that you already learned in school before. And two is because I felt sort of like lied to. So 2 years before I graduated from high school, I knew that you could either take the SAT or take a couple of APs in order to like match up with the German high school diploma. And by the way, this was when like the new SAT was on the rise and you had to get a score above like 1300. And so I did that, but surprise, surprise, it was only for some unis. Now at the time, fresh out of high school, I didn't exactly know where I wanted to study, let alone what major. So I didn't want to have like a limited selection of universities, you know? Oh, and by the way, my friends who did the AP exams, literally like all of them were basically rejected because they were missing one language AP. So like most of my friends had like math, physics, chemistry, economics, but then they were missing like English, for example, which doesn't make any sense. Like you're gonna study in German anyway, how is English gonna help you? So yeah, these were like the horror stories when we first came here. But I'm here to tell you that Studienkolleg is one of the best choices you can make by far. First of all, to get into Studienkolleg, you need a B2 certificate. Now there are public ones and private ones. For the public ones, you need a B2. For the private ones, you might get away with like a B1, A2 maybe. Now I've experienced both, private and public. And I'll tell you right off the bat, public ones are better. But if you don't have a choice, then private one isn't like the worst thing in the world. It's just that with private ones, they're more expensive and sometimes you don't learn everything you need. But as I said, visas nowadays are only given if you have like a B1 certificate. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a B1. So if you come to Germany having a B1 certificate, getting to B2 will only take you like 3 to 6 months. And then as I said, Studienkolleg is usually 1 year, but there are a few that are only 6 months. And so if you do 6 months of getting to B2, which is, I feel like, more than enough if you already have B1, and then another 6 months of Studienkolleg, that's 1 year, and it's exactly the same amount of time that people who only do language need. Wait, was that grammatically correct? So basically getting to B2 and doing Studienkolleg takes 1 year, and so does if you only come here and do language. So there's no like time advantage if your high school diploma is recognized by the Germans. Again, this is following the strategy of getting to B2 and then doing Studienkolleg for only 6 months. Also, even if the people who only need to do a language course to get into uni finish before you, most majors start in October anyway, so even if they finish before you, they still have to wait. And trust me, those like 6 to 3 months they spend just being lazy, sitting around, they're gonna forget a lot of what they've learned. So yeah, I guess the best case scenario is like finding a job and like, you know, continuously practicing before you start uni. Getting back to the point, here's why I think Studienkolleg is a better choice. It's mainly because of 2 things. As I mentioned before, in the Studienkolleg you have like usually 5 subjects, and this will put you at such a good advantage in terms of like the people who are only doing language. Because in the language courses you're only learning the language, whereas in the Studienkolleg you're learning terms and definitions that will help you in the course you're intending to study. Let me give you this quick scenario. So for most majors, you're probably gonna have math. And I know some people say that like all German and English are kind of similar, and it's true to some extent that they have certain similarities, but in general, I'd say no. Like, honestly, what do you think? How is the word derive said in German? Ableiten. I know, what the f***? Or like slope. Neigung. So this is the biggest advantage. You go into uni knowing all those terms. I just mentioned 2, but there are like thousands. You already go into uni knowing all those terms, and people who come from a language course, they know practically like none, or maybe they've heard like 5.
Okay, so because I had so many things to talk about and I was getting pretty tired, I decided to continue this video tomorrow with the same outfit. so you guys wouldn't even realize. But I freaking wore a watch this time. Look at that grin on my face. I thought I outsmarted all of you.
So you obviously have an advantage compared to the others only doing language. Ergo, you won't have that extra struggle in your first year.
Okay, I have this thing of trying to sound fancy when I record videos. I don't know, maybe it's like a perfectionist sort of thing. Like, why did I even use ergo? It basically means therefore, by the way, if you guys didn't know. So yeah, maybe you learned a thing or two.
The second reason is diversity. I know some friends who have been doing language courses for like months, and they told me it drives them crazy because they're doing the same thing every day with the same teacher. Whereas in the Studienkolleg you have different subjects, different teachers, your brain needs to think differently for certain concepts. So yeah, this is why I prefer Studienkolleg over a normal language course. As I said, if you follow the strategy that I just told you, you'd be done in a year and you can choose practically any university in Germany. So yeah, this was basically the three groups that people are divided into when they come here hoping to study in Germany. Now here's the advice that all students who want to apply to a German university should hear. No matter how similar your situation is to your friend, your best friend, even your sibling, don't follow what they did because things can change just like that. So basically what I'm saying is don't listen to people's comments like, oh, I don't think you're gonna get in here. What you should do is apply to all the unis you want to get into and wait for their response. If you get like a conditional acceptance or like a rejection, most likely they'll even give you like a reason, and you should exclusively listen to that reasoning that they gave you in that specific time frame. Because like I said, things can change from year to year, just like with my brother and I. Also, I think you should apply to like a minimum of 3 universities, preferably 5+, or up to 10 or even more if you can. And by the way, the application process isn't that complicated. So for most universities, all you have to do is go to the website of the university. You fill out an online application with like personal information. You usually have to print it out, sign it, and send it by post with like a couple of other documents. Those documents vary from uni to uni, like some want your passport, some want only an ID. But one thing that you're definitely gonna send to all of them is obviously your high school diploma. You even get a checklist from every uni of what exactly to send. So just do exactly what they say. Like some of them want it in a folder, some of them want this paper on top of this one. Germans. Everything has to be precise. Also, why I'm telling you to apply to multiple unis is because not all of the universities recognize your documents, which I know is like super weird to hear, but let me tell you my personal experience. So I basically applied to like 6 or 7 unis, and my top choice was TUM in Munich, and thankfully I did get accepted there, so I didn't really care about the others. I did keep track of the other applications though, mainly because I wanted to boost my self-esteem, having a feeling of accomplishment just by getting accepted somewhere. And you know, a few days passed by until I got a rejection from another TU university. That one was in Darmstadt. It's like a small city next to Frankfurt, and even though it might not be like internationally known, it's very respected here in Germany. Oh, and by the way, it wasn't like a direct rejection. They basically said that my high school diploma was like lacking a paper or not complete. But the thing is, I already sent all the papers that I received from my high school, and they basically said if I don't send them the complete full documents of my high school diploma, then they're gonna have to unfortunately reject me. Now keep in mind, my high school is like 6,000 plus kilometers away from Germany, so I didn't want to go through all this hassle just to get accepted into a university that I wasn't even gonna attend. So I just left it, you know. But nevertheless, it was pretty weird because the technical university in Munich accepted me, but the technical university in Darmstadt said I was missing a few documents. And by the way, for those who don't know, there's this group of universities called the TU9. They're basically like the 9 major technical universities in Germany, and both TUM in Munich and TUD in Darmstadt, they're both a part of this group. And so having one of the universities recognize my papers and the other one not was pretty weird, especially because like they're sort of interlinked. You think like they're a group and they would all like recognize the same papers, but apparently not. But then it hit me. Those 2 universities are like in different states. One is in the south, the other one in the west, and the rules and regulations in Germany highly depend on the state itself. So then I was like, maybe that's why one of them accepted my documents and the other one didn't. Except that these pretzels gave me the same excuse too. Another university, not only in the same state, but in the same city. They're legit like 20 minutes away. The other one was the LMU in Munich. They basically gave me the same response with like, oh, your documents are incomplete, whatever. And as I said, I had no extra papers to send them. So yeah, at this point I like completely gave up. I didn't want to even respond because, as I said, I got accepted into the university of my choice. And so I decided I'm not going to care about the rest. Okay, I kind of did just to see what the rest would say. And the rest did thankfully accept me. But as I said, it didn't even matter at that point. So yeah, I'm telling you, any surprise can come to you at any time. This day I don't know why these two universities gave me this like stupid excuse. In case one of them is watching this video to like see how their reputation is online. DM me, bro. So yeah, if you want more videos about Germany, especially like I mentioned, a more in-depth video about Studienkolleg, then just let me know. I did this video in English for like international purposes, obviously, but I can also make videos in Polish and Arabic. I don't know why I just did that. It's exactly 12 AM right now. Wait, let me show you. As you can see, it's midnight, and honestly, I'm pretty tired, so forgive me for this one. But yeah guys, if you want languages in different videos, if you guys want videos in different languages, then just let me know. So yeah, I guess it could help a couple of people. And yeah.